Titagarh Rail, that's the stock that we're keeping an eye out on. Couple of things and couple of points that we want to discuss with the management. One is the worst over in terms of the wheel set availability, which is an issue that is going on for the company. The next one, the company's order book has remained strong. But will that lead to better growth for the company going forward from here on? As well as recent order wins. They've had a big order win that's come in from GRSC. A strategic diversification, is that the deal now coming in for the company? That is what we'll be discussing with Umesh Chowdhary, Vice Chairman as well as Managing Director of the company. Mr. Chowdhary, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. Firstly, I'll start with that point that is coming for GRSE, the order win that's come in there, right? And that is what you've been talking about in terms of diversification, the shipbuilding as well as that maritime segment of the company. So talk to us about, one, this order win, what will it mean for the company? Also, you've spoken about, spinning off that side of the business as well. So how will that shape up for the company? What is the timeline for all this as well?
So good afternoon, and thank you for having me with you. So let me explain to you about the shipbuilding. So we have announced earlier this month that the board has approved demerging the shipbuilding business into an SPV, into 100% SPV to start with, which will then focus on the shipbuilding and maritime systems. And we have been in this business. We have delivered more than 35 vessels to the Indian Navy, Coast Guard, NIOT, etc. So, there are credentials, there's enough credentials and eligibility we have under our belt, and we would like to leverage upon that. And one of the biggest constraints that we had of being on the north of the Howrah Bridge, which was kind of limiting our capacity and capability to make different types of vessels, has been corrected by our acquisition of the land of Precision Shipyard, which we did a few months ago, maybe a year ago. So now with that, this business, which is already seeing a huge amount of tailwind in terms of the government focus and the government impetus to grow, we would like to be in that business, but grow it either with or with a strategic partner or by ourselves, but in a separate company, so that the core business, which is the rail business of the company, remains unimpacted.
Right.
Mr. Chowdhary, could you narrow down on when you talk about a strategic partner, what are you considering when it comes to the naval business? Are you in talks? Are you exploring at this point in time? Could you define that for us as well?
So it's more a statement of intent at this point of time. Of course, this is something that we will be working upon. The first step was to create a shipyard, to segregate it into a separate company, to grow the business, to build up the business, for which the order has come. We've got a very strong management team in place for the business. With all of this, now the statement of intent is that we are looking at or we are open to inducting a strategic partner into that, so that the business can grow on its own accord.
What is your revenue mix likely to be going forward from this vertical? What is the contribution likely to be? Because you are a rail systems company. So far, you've done a lot of the freight, and then passenger comes in, as your order book split has suggested. This new vertical, how much do you expect it to contribute in the near and medium and long future?
So I would say that it's more of a medium to long-term future, because in the near future, it would be not significant. But as we have announced that we will be creating a capacity of doing between 16 to 20 vessels a year. And on a ballpark, of course, the order that we have got from GRSE, which is indirectly from the Ministry of Earth Sciences, is about 225 crores a vessel. But on a ballpark, let's say between 100 to 150 crore a vessel should be what our sweet spot of the vessel size would be. So it is a business that can potentially see us go up to 1,500, 2,000 crores of top line over a period of time.
What would that period be?
Maybe 3 to 5 years. I mean, that's something which will develop as we go along. But our focus in the next 1 year is going to build up a strong order book. And also, this is not a business where the time from order to execution is overnight. It takes almost a couple of years for the vessel to completely get delivered from the time you get the order. So therefore, anything between 3 to 5 years is the timeline, I would say.
Okay, 3 to 5 years is the timeline. 1,500
And of course, in
crores.
terms of the order book or the
Yeah.
business mix inside the rail business, till now, 95% of our business used to be the freight rail business. And if you see the order book, now the freight rail business is only just about 25-30% of our order book. So the passenger rail business is actually going to start contributing from the coming quarter or this quarter onwards, and is going to the year of inflection is going to be FY27 to a large extent, but the main year of inflection is going to be FY28. That is the year where we will be able to deliver all the Vande Bharats and all the metro coaches parallelly and get the real advantage of the passenger rail systems.
Right. Mr. Chowdhary, that's the point that I also want to understand in terms of the rail system side, right? Where freight rolling stock now has started contributing lesser to your overall order book. What does this indicate in terms of margins for the company? How do we see that moving then?
So the margins in both the businesses are similar. So we do not see a big change in the margin. And we are in a business where the top line actually drives the bottom line. So, the customers are government customers, and you do not have so much of pricing power with the customer because, there is the benchmark already set. So what can really help is you have to grow your top line. And secondly, because of the growth of top line, the operating leverages kick in. So that's what we are focusing on. If you see what we have done the last couple of years, 3,700, 3,800 crores, or let's say ballpark of 4,000 crores, has been primarily from the freight. And what the capacity we are creating in the passenger is much larger than that. So we're looking at, while on one side, the freight to be like a annuity business or a stable business, I would say. Not an annuity, probably that's the wrong word, but a stable, more stable business. The passenger is the one that is really on the takeoff point.
Right. So, because passenger rail side, I just wanted to confirm in terms of margins. Last year, the EBIT was around 6%, 7%. This year, it's moved up to 11%. So now this 11% is what you're saying is sustainable overall basis, even for the company, that means.
That's right. So the freight, we are at about 12.5%, about a ballpark of 12%. And if you see the total, the numbers, you see the break-even point to achieve that 11-12% EBITDA in the passenger rail system is about there. I would say we are not fully there, but about there. So the margin also better because we also had the contract mix, in the sense we were doing the Bangalore metro train, which was flagged off by the Honorable Prime Minister earlier this month. Right. Where the material part of it does not come to our revenue. So therefore, the EBITDA shows higher. But on a ballpark, I would say that to get to the same EBITDA levels, we need a revenue of between 1,000 to 1,200 crores, which we should be able to get by the end of the year on a quarterly run rate basis.
Just quickly, before we let you go, Mr. Chowdhary, if you could just apprise us of what's taking place with regards to the wheel set supply shortage, impacted your FY25 and Q1 numbers?
Yeah, so fortunately, touchwood, that problem is behind us now. The wheel sets have normalized from the last week of July, I would say first week of August. And, we've seen this in the last 27 years. Wheel sets has been a perennial or a cyclical problem ever since. So I would say there are two ways of looking at it. One is the short-term solution, which is now the wheel set problem has been sorted out. The rail wheel factory has started giving us adequate wheel sets from the beginning of this month. And the long-term or the permanent problem is our own joint venture coming into production, which should happen in the beginning of 2026. So that would really take care of the wheel set problem on a permanent basis.
All right, Mr. Chowdhary, we're going to let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us. So that's Titagarh Rail. The stock is up around 1% at this point in time. We need to take a short break, but as we do that, a reminder for our viewers, unlock a world of exclusivity, expertise and influence. Become a member of CNBC-TV18 Access, our premium members-only experience on CNBC-TV18.com. The membership includes access to CNBC-TV18's flagship events, interactions with our journalists, along with curated studio tours, e-learning sessions and masterclasses, and curated lifestyle benefits.